The grandfather of your grandfather walked these same streets. George Square, Buchanan Street, the Broomielaw. But the Glasgow he knew in the 1880s wasn't some quaint Victorian postcard. It was the second city of the empire, and it earned that title the hard way, through sweat, skill, and the relentless clang of hammers on the Clyde. This is the story of the city that built the world's ships, housed thousands in tenements that were both prison and community, and somehow balanced brutal industry with genuine pride. The Glasgow that made your family what it is today. Thanks to new AI tools, we can bring back to life paintings, sketches and photographs from Glasgow in the 1880s. Let me show you. Stand in George Square in 1880, and you're not looking at some quiet civic postcard. You're looking at a statement. By the late 1870s, the square's already filling up with monuments. Robert Burns, James Watt, the national poet standing alongside the engineer. Now, walk down Buchanan Street or Argyle Street. What strikes you isn't just the shops, it's the movement. People browsing, comparing, meeting, showing up well in public. The Argyle Arcade, linking the two streets since 1827, speaks to something Glasgow's never really lost: the pleasure of buying quality things in dense, walkable streets. There's a rhythm to it that would feel familiar to any modern Glaswegian. But here's what makes the difference in the 1880s. The city's first horse-drawn tramway started running in 1872. And by 1880, ordinary working folk can travel across town more easily than ever before. The centre isn't just where you shop and do business anymore. It's a hub you pass through on purpose, because Glasgow's knitting itself together, street by street, route by route. Step back towards the Trongate and Glasgow Cross, though, and you see something older. The Tollbooth steeple, surviving from the 17th century, anchors the place in memory. It's a reminder that Glasgow's modern wealth is layered over much older civic habits: courts, prisons, municipal authority. By the late 1800s, even the Tollbooth building itself is being repurposed for commercial use. That tells you something about the centre's priorities. If the city centre is where Glasgow shows off its confidence, the Clyde is where that confidence is earned, day after day, by work that's loud, skilled, and relentless. Stand on the Broomielaw in 1880, and you'll understand why Glasgow calls itself the second city of the empire. The riverfront is crowded with small steamers and larger vessels, carts and cranes, sailors, dock labourers, customs men, clerks, and curious onlookers. Everything smells of wet timber, coal smoke, tar, and river mud. The Clyde is commerce made physical. Here's the thing: the Clyde you're looking at in 1880 has been shaped, almost engineered into existence as a major shipping river. Earlier in the century, the Clyde was far less accommodating to deep draft vessels. Glasgow's rise depends on steady improvements: dredging, training walls, quays, new basins, and careful management. That kind of work isn't glamorous, but it's the scaffolding of everything else. When people later talk about Clyde built, they're talking not only about shipyards, but about the city's ability to organise expertise, money, and politics around a practical goal. Follow the logic downstream, and the river becomes a corridor of industry. Engineering works, foundries, warehouses, and yards that feed one another. Shipbuilding is already central to Glasgow's identity in 1880, but it's easy to miss how many other trades make shipbuilding possible. Boiler making, iron and steel work, fittings and engine manufacture, drafting rooms, and the transport firms that move everything to where it needs to be. The Clyde is a network, not a single industry. This is also where the city's social world shows itself most clearly. The riverfront and the yards draw in skilled men who build reputations through apprenticeship and craft pride. They also absorb vast numbers of labourers doing heavy, often dangerous work for wages that can be uncertain. The shipyards are famous for innovation and quality, but they're also places where timekeeping, discipline, layoffs and disputes are part of ordinary life. The river is an honest reminder that Glasgow's wealth isn't abstract. It's produced by hands. Much of Glasgow's global reputation, its engineering confidence, its industrial pride, its hard-edged humour about work, runs along the river. The Clyde doesn't just flow through Glasgow. In 1880, it is Glasgow. But here's what doesn't make it into the glossy stories. By 1880, Glasgow's prosperity has a visible underside, and it's most clearly read in housing. The city's growing fast, drawing people in for work and opportunity, and the result is a dense urban world of tenements, courts, and stairs, where thousands of families live close together. Now, the key is to understand that the tenement isn't automatically slum, and isn't automatically respectable either. It's a flexible building type, used for everything from solid artisan households to overcrowded, underserved lodging. The difference is often the street, the landlord, and the condition of the building, not the basic form. In the older parts of the city, around the high street, and the older commercial core, overcrowding and decay have become hard to ignore. Buildings designed for earlier centuries are subdivided and re-subdivided. Rooms become homes for entire families. Lodgers bring in extra money, but also extra bodies. Shared stairs, back courts, and common wash areas concentrate daily life into tight spaces. When you imagine Glasgow in 1880, don't imagine isolated poverty. Imagine density. People constantly moving past one another, sharing water sources, sharing sanitation, sharing noise, and crucially, sharing disease risks. This is why public health becomes such a powerful civic concern. Tuberculosis, typhus, and other infections thrive in cramped, damp conditions. Improvement isn't a fashionable slogan. It's a political program driven by fear, statistics, and the reality of preventable death. Glasgow's leaders are proud of modern engineering solutions. Cleaner water, better drainage, new streets. They talk about the city as something that can be managed like a system. By 1880, that mindset is firmly in place, but the work is uneven and contested. And here's where Glasgow's moral complexity shows. Clearance can mean displacement. Better housing can mean higher rents. Improvement often benefits commerce and traffic flow as much as it benefits the people who lived in the cleared courts. Even in 1880, Glaswegians are arguing over what improvement should mean. Rebuilding for the working class, or rebuilding for a more profitable city centre. But shift the viewpoint from policies to daily routines, and you see something different. The tenement world runs on shared arrangements. Neighbours watching children, messages passed on landings, water carried upstairs, washing lines and back greens, street sellers and small shops. It's a hard life, but not only a bleak one. Community forms in close quarters, and pride shows up in small things. Keeping a close tidy, getting the weans to school, managing a budget that never feels quite large enough. Glasgow's housing story isn't just a backdrop to industrial glory. It shapes memory, family histories, and the city's later politics. The tenement is where the city's growth is lived, argued over and endured. One stair, one close, one street at a time. Now, to understand Glasgow in 1880, you have to look beyond work and housing to what people did with their minds, their loyalties, and their rare free hours. This is a city that's intensely serious about improvement, but it also knows how to enjoy itself. The result is a culture that feels recognisably Glaswegian, practical, proud, argumentative, funny, and deeply attached to place. Begin with the cathedral and the necropolis, because they hold two different kinds of memory at once. The cathedral is medieval Glasgow still standing at the heart of an industrial giant, reminding everyone that the city's identity is older than shipyards and smoke. The necropolis, by contrast, is Victorian Glasgow making a monument to itself, an ordered landscape of commemoration where families and institutions display status, belief, and civic pride in stone. Together, they show how 19th century Glaswegians anchored themselves in tradition and in the confidence of modern progress. Faith, too, is part of daily structure. Churches aren't just places of worship. They're social organisers, moral authorities, and community hubs. Denominational divisions matter, and in some areas they sharpen neighbourhood identity and politics. Glasgow in 1880 runs on organisations: churches, clubs, unions, lodges, charitable societies. Many men experience their public life through those memberships. Many of these places still set the tone of the city. The cathedral, the necropolis, the university skyline, the green, the big stations. Glaswegians still use them to orient themselves. In 1880, they were already doing the same, building a sense of Glasgow that lasts. The city you know, the one with the swagger and the complexity, the one that's proud but never quite comfortable, that city was already here in 1880. Built on iron, ambition, and the labour of thousands. Still standing, still recognisable, still Glasgow.